Count Dracula.
Throughout history, only one name has meant horror as well as desire, and that name is Dracula. Hello, I am Rob, and welcome to R&B Reviews. As many of you know, Halloween is just around the corner, so I decided to stop and take a look at some classic horror movies. And of course, as I mentioned, I'm going to be reviewing the Dracula. This is the 1979 version starring Frank Langella as the Count. And it's based off of the same stage play that the classic 1931 film with Bela Lugosi came from. The play was originally started, it ran in from 1928 with Lugosi, and then in the mid-70s it was revived with Frank Langella, and that's pretty much how this film came about. The cast in this movie is actually pretty stellar. You might recognize some of the faces. For example, stage legend Laurence Olivier plays Abraham Van Helsing in the movie. He gives a very great dramatic touch to the film. The movie also has Donald Pleasence as Dr. Seward. Some Halloween fans might know him as Dr. Loomis, or if you're a James Bond fan, you might recognize him as playing the villain Blofeld in You Only Live Twice. And for those of you that are Doctor Who fans, you might recognize young Sylvester McCoy in this movie as one of Dr. Seward's assistants.
Well, what do you think killed her?
Killed? That's an odd word. Yet there was no sign of disease.
What about those marks on her neck?
Marks on her neck. Perhaps she injured herself, fastening her shawl.
Oh, Father, don't...
The movie itself is set in 1913, and like I said, it follows the same plot as the 1931 film. Dracula decides to leave Transylvania, takes up residence in England. He lives on a falling apart Fairfax Abbey right by the local asylum, and he starts to sort of terrorize and fall in love with some of the female residents over there, Mina and Lucy. One of them is the daughter of Dr. Seward, the other is the daughter of Abraham Van Helsing. And this version of Dracula is not really a horror movie. It's more of a gothic, I guess, romantic melodrama. And it definitely takes it has some different roots from other versions of Dracula. For example, Frank Langella plays Dracula as a sympathetic character and not as a creepy monster like Bela Lugosi and Christopher Lee have in the past. For example, in the movie when he does the Children of the Night speech, instead of saying what wonderful music they make, showing that he enjoys, being this monster, he says, well, I believe it's what lonely music they make, because he is kind of an outsider. I mean, he does wish that he could be in the sunlight and find a love that'll stick with him. He's kind of jealous. He's an outside character, and he's definitely more of a romantic sort of character that charms the female cast members. So he's not really a monster here, like again Bela Lugosi, Christopher Lee, or Max Schreck from Nosferatu. And also, the movie tends to bring out Dracula's more bat animal instincts. For example, there's a scene where he's trying to break into a house and he scratches at the window while hanging upside down like claws. Like Another difference is the female characters, Mina and Lucy, are not these useless damsels in distress. They're definitely more feminist characters to tie in with the time period that this movie is set in. They talk about, that they want to have, say in, important matters. And Lucy accepted to go to a law firm after just about ready to complete law school. So they're definitely they got more meat to them. They're a little bit more developed, a little bit more substance to them.
Jonathan Harker tells me you speak some Romanian.
Oh, hardly, I know.
Mi-a plățea să te văd sunt. There, you do understand.
You really don't idea what you said.
I said it would be nice to see you smile.
The movie I thought had a very great dramatic score by John Williams, and it also, when there's scenes that don't rely on Williams' score, there's some very great use of silence to add to the creepiness, and the camera work in this movie is excellent too. There's a lot of good swift ones, like in the opening credits as well as in the asylum. I really enjoyed the sort of gray, desaturated color to it, and the movie itself was very stylish and very good looking. The costumes, the sets, the location, it was really good. And like I said, the cast itself was excellent. Frank Langella has these great hypnotic eyes, and he really makes the character more calm, more, lonely, and more sympathetic compared to, Bela Lugosi and Christopher Lee.
You will be flesh of my flesh, blood of my blood. You shall cross land or sea to do my bidding.
And like I said, Laurence Olivier, even though he was apparently ill during filming, he's very dramatic, and I really do sympathize with his character a lot.
Gentlemen.
I have underestimated your powers, Count Dracula, to move about in daylight hours
It is always daylight somewhere on Earth.
This version of Dracula, I think it's kind of underrated because it's not really a bloody horror movie. I mean, it gives you some chills, and there's some, you do get to see a little bit of stuff visually as well. But I thought for what it is, I thought it was a very fine gothic melodrama. I thought it was a nice touch to the film. I like that they did something different compared to the other Dracula movies. So I recommend giving this one a shot. Like I said, it's not a straight horror movie, but I think it's a very good, gothic drama that's worth checking out. All right, well, thank you very much for watching. If you have seen this version of Dracula, go ahead and post your comments, or if you have any feedback for the video, post that as well. Thank you very much for watching.
Children of the night.
What sad music they make.
Do you think it's sad?
So lonely. Like weeping.